Welcome to our Thursday night program. We are very delighted to have Olivier Kah tonight. He works for the Alzheimer's Association, the Illinois chapter from the Peoria local office. He's been with the Alzheimer's organization since 2016. He is a manager and a care consultant. He lives in North Peoria with three beautiful daughters, Cindy, Nita, and Cree. They all go to Dunlap School District. He was born and raised in Cameroon in West Africa, and he's been in Peoria since June of 2012. Came first in 2008, and he lived in Minnesota. I'm wondering if we went to the same school before relocating to Illinois in 2009. He's attended Illinois Valley Community College, Bradley University, and Illinois State University, where he earned a master's degree in social work. He is president of the Cameroon Community in Peoria called Cameroon Connection. He's been president since 2017. It's his final term, and there will be a new president next year. But this is a unique opportunity for us to learn about an African country that probably many of us don't know anything about. So, Mr. Kah, take us away.
Thank you, Angela, for the brand presentation. My name is Olivier Kah. It's always great thing to talk about your own country, and I'm going to be talking about Cameroon. That maybe most of you know about it, or you don't know. I'm going to give you brief summary. I'm not going to go into a lot of details. I will avoid figures, because I don't want to provide misinformation. I will talk about a little bit of politics, culture, education, and day-to-day challenge that people face at different levels. Next slide, please. So before I start, I would like to just point out some facts about Cameroon. Cameroon is located in Central Africa and is considered as Africa in miniature. The reason we say this is because Cameroon is the only country in Africa that you can find mountains, rivers, gold, diamond, and that is everything that is found anywhere in Africa is found in Cameroon. It's a culturally diverse country with more than 250 ethnic groups. For example, if you leave Peoria and go to Peking, for example, it's going to be a different ethnic group with a different local language. Actually, the Cameroon is divided into two: the English speaking that makes up 80% of the population, and the English speaking. It's predominantly a country full of Christians, Muslims, and other religions. It's one of the wettest place in Africa, in West Central Africa, is found in Cameroon. Is called the Poncha, and Cameroon has the highest mountain in West Africa. Cameroon is also one of the first countries to qualify for soccer quarterfinals in 1990. It was one of the first African countries. These are some of the facts about Cameroon. Next slide, please. Okay. The location. If you look in there are different. Cameroon is surrounded by Chad in the north, Central Africa. In the south, you have Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Congo, and Nigeria in the east. And if you look carefully at the map, there are 10 regions in Cameroon. I don't want to go into detail, but we'll come to question and answer. I can answer any question. Next slide, please. If you look carefully here, you see the president. The president is Paul Biya, and he has been in power since 1982. He's elected. His term of office has expired for 7 years, but he's still been elected as president. So he has been in power for almost 40 years. He's one of the oldest president in African country.
Okay.
The main ruling party, which he is president, and president of the country is Cameroon Party, or Cameroon Democratic Party movement. And it was created in 1982 when he became power. So Cameroon has just had two presidents, the late Hamadou Ahidjo, who ruled from 1960 to 1982. So the Cameroon has 10 regions. Each region is headed by a governor, and the governor is appointed by the president. So it's kind of a central system. And then the smallest administrative unit that you can find in Cameroon is a mayor. Next slide, please. Education. If you look carefully at the picture, that is one classroom with one teacher. So Cameroon has two educational systems. The French speaking, because Cameroon was colonized by France, and then the English speaking, because part of it was colonized by Britain. So the school academic year runs from September through June. Most of the schools are bilingual. That means English and French are being taught, and English and French are the official languages. You start from nursery school, what we call here kindergarten, then you go to primary school where you are there for 6 years, and then you go to secondary school for 5 years, and then you go from secondary school, you write an exam, you have to pass to go to high school. High school is for 2 years. Then from high school now, you have to pass the official exams to get into either a private college or a university for 3 years. Most of the schools are either run by the government or private sectors. What you should note here is that schools education is not free. One may say that in government, let me call them state schools, education is free, but actually it is not free. Parents have to pay the tuition, and it's mostly expensive, and they buy all the school supplies. This is one of the reasons why, and we're going to talk about this in the next slide, why the enrollment is very low. Next slide, please. A little bit of culture and region. As I mentioned at the beginning, Cameroon is a diversified culture with 250 tribes. It means, I will just give another example. If I leave Peoria and I go to Galesburg, for example, it's going to be a different tribe or ethnic group with a different local language. Then marriages, we have both civil, region or church, and then traditional. Traditional marriages are very important. If you look below there, the picture of President Obama and the wife, the attire there is very unique. The cap I'm wearing here is very unique in the northwest and south, especially in the northwest region, which may be called the grass field because it's savanna. There's no forest in the north. Lifestyle, people like living together, like cousin, uncle, niece, living in one house or living in one community. So there is, citizens are entitled to freedom of whoever you want to watch. That is okay in Cameroon. So there's no problem with that. So Christianity, as I mentioned at the beginning, there are about 69%. And then Islam, which is the Muslims, 21%, and then other small worship groups that we do have in Cameroon. Next slide, please. Then the economic, not going into details. If you look at the picture, that's cocoa. Cameroon is like, I think the second, I think second to Ivory Coast in terms of cocoa production. Most of the cocoa is exported. Most people in Cameroon, I don't want to say 80%, but I would say in rural areas, 99% of people depend on subsistence farming, not intense farming as you find here in America. The crops that they do have are sold in local markets. So they harvest, like, let's say, bananas, come and sell in the city, then get some money and then buy what is not available in the city, in the local area, to return home. And then there's really high rate of unemployment. The government is one of the main employer, but how many people can the government employ? Not many. The rate of unemployment among youths is also very high. That's why the picture below shows how youths get self-employed. They buy bikes and then do transportation. And that's like one of the most popular means to move from one locality to the other. They go fast, but the only downside with motorbikes is accident, because actually most of them are not trained. So they don't actually follow road signs, and their accidents are usually very fatal. Next slide, please. Interesting area, challenges, political challenges. The English speaking, which is like the minority, feels they were marginalized. And this marginalization led to the current armed conflict that is going on in Cameroon. More than 400 villages have been set on fire, so that deserted. There's nobody living there. More than 5,000 people, both government forces, children, and women have been killed. If you look at the first picture, that is a picture of displaced people. More than 1,000, I don't know how many thousand, I don't want to give wrong figures, have fled to Nigeria, the neighboring city, and hundreds of thousands are internally displaced. As I'm speaking here, it is not safe for me to go to Cameroon and then go to the city in where I was born because of the insecurity. One of the reasons is the president has been in power for so long, since 1982. The system of government is centralized, and everything you have to do is like living in Peoria. If you want to do something important, like you have to go to Washington, D.C. to get it done. Poor road infrastructures. If you look below there, you can see that's how roads are when it's raining. And it makes it very difficult for people to live from one locality or one city to another. Then there's military brutality. There's no respect, there's injustice, especially for people that are not of the ruling party. If you're not of the party in which the president is, you are considered like the enemy of the state, and you are being treated very poorly. Next slide, please. Then challenges continue, social challenges, lack of potable water. You can look at the first picture. Those are people who are lining up just to get water. And water is considered life, so it's really, really difficult. And then lack of electricity. I don't want to talk about this one. They cut electricity, lights go off whenever, and then come back whenever. You can't say anything. You can't take the state or the government to any court, because the courts officials are appointed by the government, so you can never win a case. Then there's low enrollment in school. If you look at the pictures, those are real pictures of those 3 kids. That's how children do during summer vacation, in order just to have something, or just to buy like oil, cooking oil for the parents. The parents don't have money, then they have to drop out of school to support the family. Look at their ages. I don't know, even they're up to 5. They sell peanuts, they sell anything that they can sell. They sell eggs, and then some of them sometimes leave and they never come back home because they're kidnapped. Early pregnancy is very common. Marriages, child labor, domestic violence, sexual harassment and rape. These are things that are very common because of the insecurity in Cameroon. Next slide, please. That is the end. I didn't want to go into any details. Those are some of my sources. I'll be ready to answer any question that you ask. And if I don't have an answer, I will let you know that I don't know it. And thank you for being here, and thank you for inviting me, and thank you for listening.
Okay, I couldn't find my own controls.
Oh.
Charles has one to ask out loud. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to my days in grade school when we studied world maps. And was Cameroon part of French Equatorial Africa, or was it prior to 1960?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
I think, was it part British, part French?
Yes. If you go back to the map, you see, if you can go back to the map, you see that somebody just wrote there that the volcano is still active. Yeah, if you go to the map, you see northwest and southwest. The northwest and southwest, those are the 2 English-speaking countries that were under British. Well, they were called British Cameroon, were under Britain. Then the rest of the country was colonized by the French. That's why you have French and English. I did not mention that Cameroon and Canada are the only 2 bilingual countries that I know of where English and French are the official languages. But in Cameroon, French is very dominant.
Okay. In the chat, yes, there's the question of the volcano, and then the secondary question of, I'm going to wreck it, the Douala and the Yaoundé.
Yes. What is the question about the Cameroon is still an active volcano. Then there's no rivalry between Yaoundé and Douala. Yaoundé is the capital city, and then Douala is the economic capital. So the only thing I can say is that because of the armed conflict, there are more people in Douala and Yaoundé, and there's a lot of insecurity in terms of harassment, since everybody's there trying to look for something, struggle and get ends meet. So everybody is in the market trying to sell or trying just to loiter around, pick whatever they can do.
Would you mind talking just briefly about the separatist movement and the conflict that that's causing?
Yes, I will say it. I'm from the one of the main regions where this conflict actually started, the Northwest. So one of the reasons is that the English speaking at certain point felt that they were being marginalized, and that they were being treated like second-class citizens. They were not given opportunities. Even after completing school, if you didn't know French, if you don't know French, you can't get a job. And they are not respected. So they started by asking for common law. Common law is the law practice in the English speaking. So what is done in the French speaking was being done like let's say a governor is being sent to Northwest who doesn't speak French or who doesn't speak English and is typically English speaking. So from then the government came with brutality, thinking that everything will calm down. So what people did now, they took up arms and started fighting the government forces. And in 2017, they declared the state of Ambazonia. So, and said they want complete independence. So it is still going on right at this moment. That's why the Northwest and the Southwest provinces are not, or region are not safe. Lots of people have been killed and lots of people have either fled from Nigeria to Nigeria, or they have just simply gone to Bafoussam, Douala, Yaoundé, and other English, French-speaking areas.
So,
and
Charles,
let me just add this. Just so you know, there are certain areas in the Northwest and Southwest that schools have not been going on, especially in my village. Schools have not been going on since 2016.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yeah. And Charles asks a follow-on, which is related to the follow-on I would ask. In this case, it's a conflict. The separatist movement is between the English speakers and the French speakers. Both of those would be primarily Christian. Is that accurate?
No. Let me put it this way: is the separatists and the government forces. So they are fighting for freedom of of Southern Cameroon, which they declare it as a state of Ambazonia. And at this point, the Christians is, let me say, there's no fight between the Christians and there isn't. So it's between the separation fighters and the government forces.
Okay. But you do have some trouble with Boko Haram in the northern part?
In the north, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't mention that it's still going on. Sometimes it goes down, but sometimes they come in, set houses on fire, kill people, and then go back. So that is still going on. Even in Central Africa, in the Central Africa has a conflict too, and there's a lot of insecurity too in East Cameroon.
Yeah, you're in a tough neighborhood between
yes.
the
yes.
conflict in Nigeria, the ongoing conflict, the refugees in Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're in a difficult neighborhood.
Very difficult.
Michael Goodman.
One of the most let me not say most, one of the peaceful countries in Africa at the time. But
Cameroon is?
Yes.
Oh, and now it's not. I understand.
Yeah, it's not.
And Michael asks, are there any conflicts or issues with one of your neighbors, Equatorial Guinea?
No. No.
And
not I don't know, but I don't think there is any. I only know that there is insecurity in Central Africa, which is affecting areas like Betua, up to Adamawa province.
mm-hmm.
But like countries like Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, and Congo, the only thing that is affecting them is that Cameroon used to supply food to these countries. So, and the Northwest and Southwest used to produce a lot of food. So it's actually affecting, and the prices of things have skyrocketed.
What has been the role of France since independence?
Well, if we are suffering, I think it's because of France. France has been using some of these African countries like their harvest farm. Let me put it this way: like most of the things that are found in France come from the French former colonies, like timber, like gold, like diamond, like rubber, like bananas, like cocoa. So it's like their farm. So they don't want to lose Cameroon. So what they do is this, that if somebody is coming in like the opposition and they see that they are going to be a challenge to France, France will not support. France will prefer to maintain a dictator, permit me use that word, in power. So France has not been really helpful.
Okay. I'll ask a follow-on to that one.
Mm-hmm.
What is the sentiment in Cameroon for the what's it called, the so-called French colonial tax? Does Cameroon still is still obligated to pay that?
Yes.
So,
yes.
So for those of you, go ahead and explain.
Yeah. So, like for example, so we are still suffering. Like if I have to make a call to Cameroon, it has to pass through France before the person answer it, and then the government pays taxes to the French government. So we still pay taxes, some kind of financial, I don't know how to put it, to France.
What's for all of their, all of the expense they had for developing you? Sorry, that's sarcasm.
But, I know, but not really. I think
no.
I saw a question about Germany.
Yes, there is another. Is there still any German influence in Cameroon from when the area was colonized by the Germans? And this would have been, late 1800s to 1916-ish?
Not really. Not really. We were just fortunate that the route from the northwest, like I can say one of the only third route from the northwest to Fundong doesn't appear where I come from. The road was tarred by the Germans, and just because during the war, when Germany was still in like the first trying to colonize countries, we fought. I mean, we, the people of Com, because I come from our native tribe is Com, so which is the people of Com, were the only people that actually fought very well and defeated the Germans. So the compensation that we had was they came and tarred our road. So they don't actually have any influence other than France.
Another question asks about the diaspora. Is there a large Cameroonian diaspora in the United States or in France, for example?
In the United States, the one that I would say France has more, because it's easier to get to France than to get to the United States. But however, there is still a lot of Cameroonians here in the United States, a lot of them. There are people that came, like those who have rich parents, they send them out of to study in abroad, and then when they are done with school, maybe they have like a PhD, they don't want to go back, because when you go back, you'll not be treated well, so they prefer to look for a job here. But I don't have figures, but I know that the Cameroonians that are in France are more than the ones that are in the United States.
Okay. Do the Francophones and the Anglophones get along outside of Cameroon, even if they often have conflicts inside of Cameroon?
We might disagree in maybe like politics in a way, but we do get along. Like, for example, like the Francophones and the Anglophones that are here, for example, in Peoria, we're just like one.
How many different parts of Cameroon, excuse me, how many different parts of Cameroon are represented here in Peoria?
Let me see. I would say 50%. 50%. We mostly have people from the Northwest, Southwest, the West Province, Littoral Province, and Central Province. But I don't think we have anybody here from Ebolova, from Betua, from Adamawa, from from Garawa, or from Marwa. I don't know of. Maybe in the Chicago area, but here in Peoria, no.
Okay. And tell us about your community here. What kinds of things do you guys do?
Every third Saturday of the month, we meet, share food, especially Cameroon food, and talk about how to help each other, help our children, share information, engage in the community. Like, for example, I like to volunteer, and I also encourage people to do volunteer. And then we meet, just tell stories about ourselves and how we can cope by working together. And then we actually haven't started anything like back home, like a project, but we're still building. In 2002, when I came here, there were only 2 Cameroonian families here. So I was the second Cameroon family here, but we're growing. There are more and more Cameroonians that are coming in, and I think we have like 25 Cameroonians family here in Peoria.
That is terrific. I had a different question that came to me. You had mentioned earlier that Cameroon was one of the wettest countries in Africa, and yet potable water is a problem.
No, the wettest place, a place that there's a particular area where it rains all through. So it's called the Boncha. It's only a particular place. If you go to Cameroon, if you look at the northern part is terrible when it comes to water. So water is like one of the most important thing that people need in Cameroon.
Well, and potable water. So there may be a lot of water, but if it's not clean enough to drink, that's a different issue. So
yeah, potable water. Like there's a lot of drought in the northwest. Like Cameroon has 2 seasons, for example. Like now it's the raining season, so you can collect rainwater and do some stuff. But during the dry season, which starts in November and runs through March 15, end of February, there we have like these creeks, small streams, they dry up, and then people now become, if you don't have, people have to go far away, like you saw in that picture, to get drinking water.
So is logging, illegal logging in particular, a problem in Cameroon?
Yes, it is.
Who is primarily responsible for that? I mean, who's guilty of that?
So that's a very good question. So what I know is that if you have the money in Cameroon, you can kill somebody and go free. So if you have the money, you have the power. So you do whatever you want. And if you don't have the money, then what the person can do can just pay people, they come and pick you up, go lock you, jail you, and then they leave you when they want to. And since you don't have the money, you don't have the voice. So those who have the money have the power, and they can do and undo.
So corruption is a problem.
Oh, corruption is one of the, I didn't mention this, but corruption in the government is at all levels. And it's a serious problem. But you see have some honest people that do things in the right way they can do things. Like when I was, I've helped my village in a way because I thought giving back to my community was very important. I collected books here, sent to one of the library in my community, and the books arrived there. There was, though some of them got were sent to other small libraries, but they actually arrived on time. And then I also, when I was at ICC, I used to belong to a club, and then we came up with funds, we raised funds to help. When I said a child can stay home in Cameroon or may not go to school because their parents cannot afford maybe $100 to help them, or maybe $50 to help them go to school. And people thought I was kidding. I said, no, this I'm honest, and I had to with the presentation prove to them that this is what was happening, and it's still happening now. There are lots and lots of children that are like the ones you saw in the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe their parents don't have money, and you may think that it's thousands of dollars, but it's not. Maybe just $100 can keep a child in school for an entire year, but they cannot afford.
What are their developments? What opportunities are there for development in Cameroon?
Like what do
Well, what kinds of businesses could be successful?
Okay. If anything in terms of like food will be successful. Like agriculture will be, food production will be successful. Anything that can like help like people like the type of farming that people do is very local. So people need maybe training just to maybe to anything that they can have. Like, but I know that let's say if you're raising chicken to sell, you make a lot of money. If you're making pigs, rearing pigs to sell, you make a lot of money. Goods, you make a lot of money because those are things that are in high demand. Eggs, you make a lot of money. So, but people don't lack the training, so they cannot actually do anything. If there were people to guide them and say, okay, this is how you can do, this is how you can do. But the most important thing is that there's no, even if you want to start a small business, the bank cannot give you a loan. The government cannot give you a loan. So people struggle, and they cannot, the ideas just stay with little or nothing.
We have heard a lot about the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative. Are the Chinese involved in any of the economic activity or development in Cameroon?
I would say yes, and I would say no. The Chinese are actually buying off. When I say buying off, it means that they will come, let's say they will come to Peoria, and they will see a piece of land and say they will go and meet like a parliamentarian who is here, like a senator or let's say Peoria district, whatever, or mayor, and then they will bribe him. That's corruption. And then he will sell the piece of land to the Chinese. The Chinese own it. So what they do now, they'll start by, they'll hire local people to work there, and then within a short period of time, they will send them off, and then just bring Chinese to be working there. So it's not helping. They will promise hospital, they will not build any of the hospitals. They will promise roads, they will not build anyone. They will promise a school that, oh, we are going to do this and build a school. They will not. So they're just exploiting. They're not actually helping. They have not to get me wrong, they have had constructed some nice, beautiful roads, but these roads only leads to areas rich in minerals or diamond, in natural resources. And then they help now and exploit those natural resources to China. So they're not actually helping.
Well, hopefully Europe and the United States will figure out a way to counter those activities, as they talked about this last 10 days as they met. We'll see. Charles asks, is there any oil exploration near the ocean? I noticed the proximity to the Nigerian oil fields, and then another person chimed in that Equatorial Guinea has substantial oil industry. How about for Cameroon?
Yes, there is. If you look at the map, you not even see the map, but there's an area called Bakassi, very rich, very rich. But the sad part is that the oil that is being drilled in Cameroon, local community do not benefit. So what happens is that France gets all this oil, refinance, process it and sell it back to Cameroon. So the local people don't benefit anything. If you go there to Bakassi, there's a lot of suffering, but nobody can say anything.
Interesting. Yeah. So Charles asks a different question. Do any of the churches play a major role in social justice, community development, or anything like that?
The churches are not like the ones here. The only thing that most of the churches, like the Catholic Church, does is they have good school system, and a lot of people would like to attend Catholic schools or Catholic university or high schools, but the only part is that they are only for the rich, or they're expensive. So the poor people now go to government schools where they are crowded, like the one I just shown in the picture. So they, like here, churches supply food to people. No, they don't do that. Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. I have a question on the side. You mentioned civil marriages, religious marriages, and traditional marriages. What's the difference? What's a traditional marriage?
Okay. A traditional marriage is like, if I'm getting married, so the first thing is I have to start with a traditional marriage between my wife and her parents. That's the start. If you do any other thing, it will not be recognized by your parents. So actually, the civil is kind of borrow. Is here like what because like in America, there's no traditional marriage. It's marriage. So people, those who are rich, do the three. The traditional, they go to court, and then they go to church. But those who are just average people, they just do the traditional. Like my parents only did the traditional. That was the most important, where they buy palm oil, they buy things and take to the wife's family. That is it. They automatically become your wife. But
like the dowry system.
Exactly, you got it correct. So now the traditional marriage now is not recognized in the Western world. So now people have to go and do the civil.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. What Don asks, what ways, if any, has climate change impacted Cameroon?
Well, I would say that because of timber exploitation, a lot of trees have been cut down, and they are not like it's easy to destroy. They're just destroying the forest, exposing the forest, and that has actually affected that results to drought, like especially in the north and in some areas where the people like the pygmies who are found in the east depend in the forest. But now with the timber exploitation, which is really exaggerated, there's no like reserve areas like they do here that no, you cannot go into this area, you cannot go into this. So people just do whatever they want since they have the money and nobody has anything to say, okay, no, you're not doing the right thing.
That's too bad. Yeah. So, well, since you are a Peoria community and we are excited to learn that you exist. This is a good experience for us because, of course, you know, Peoria is a dynamic community, but not always, we don't always necessarily know all the dynamics of it. How can we, the World Affairs Council and your new friends, I hope, get more involved with the Cameroonian community here in Peoria, especially now that the pandemic's ending?
This is it's like when I announced this in the meeting, it was like everybody was like, this is a good opportunity for us to talk more about Cameroon and areas where the Peoria Area World Affairs Council can work with us to make a difference. So I think together we can help a lot of struggling people see what we can do. Sometimes when I say when we were going to school, you may leave and go to school without even knowing what we are going to eat, and somebody will be like, "Really?" I say, "Yes, it's true." And I would say you had $1, I was like, everything had changed in your life. So people were like, no. I said, this is reality. So in fact, so the partnership is going to be very successful and very helpful to a lot of Cameroonians here and Cameroonians back home. And if a village could have water, that would be something that they will never forget in their whole life. If a child can be able to attend school, you know, because they were just roaming the street, loitering around, not knowing where to go, that can be a blessing, not only to the child, to the family. There are a lot of children that their parents have been killed during this conflict in front of them. There's nobody to help them. They're just all over the place. So there are a lot of things that we can do together, like priorities, basic necessities that people will definitely be helpful to a lot of people.
That sounds good. We'll have to get together and talk some real strategies, you know, put some pen to paper and figure out some steps to take. Are you aware of any other, I know Africa is a huge continent, but we used to have a Ghanaian group here in Peoria, and then I think we have a group from Nigeria. Are you aware of other groups from Africa at all?
I don't know about Nigerians, but I know there are some few Nigerians here. We're not actually, I think I just know like one that, but I don't think they belong to any group. I know about the Democratic Republic of Congo. They have, we're actually having a soccer match with them. This is going to be the first time on June 27. So that's just a way for us to get connected with them too. And but I don't know of any. They may be, but that one I think I don't know that they just group together to play soccer, because we meet and play soccer. We also meet and play tennis. We also meet sometimes just in the park, just to hang around without necessarily doing, just let children play in the park and then we watch them.
Where are you guys going to play soccer?
We play soccer at Delaware Park on I-29. No, Highway 29 as you are going to Chillicothe. There's a park there down the hill.
Oh,
Let's say if you leave, if you're going to ICC, before you cross the bridge, if you make a left and you're going towards Chillicothe, there's a soccer field there. That's where we play.
okay.
Yeah.
Anybody know what that's called up there? Do you mean by Caterpillar? Not by Caterpillar. Further.
No,
Maybe at Detweiler. Detweiler has a bunch of
Yes,
soccer fields.
Detweiler, sure.
Yeah.
Detweiler, thank you.
Yeah.
Detweiler, sure. Well, maybe you'll have some people come and cheer then.
Yes, and then on this Saturday at 5 p.m., we are going to have our first outdoor meeting in a park at Robinson Park on Mossville. Yeah, so we're going to have some African food there, and yeah.
What time is that?
5 p.m.
And what time's the soccer game?
The soccer game will be on the 27th at 5 p.m. too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe you'll be invaded.
Yeah, that will
We'll
be.
see.
Yeah. But somebody has just written here. There's a lot of DRC community in Galesburg, where they're Quad City.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Charles just put this in here, Galesburg and Monmouth. So
yeah,
the meat packing company there. So
yeah.
And then let's see. Michael points out that for some reason, Madison, Wisconsin has a large number of Togolese.
Oh, I didn't know.
Interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
And they're not very far away. I mean, Madison is what, 3.5 hours is all. So
they're not far.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
And Kate points out that there's several faculty from Nigeria. And in the past, we used to have a ton of students from Sudan. I'm not sure we have as many as we used to, but we have a sizable population from Sudan as well. So.
Yes.
Neat.
Maybe the conflict that just ended there. Some of those things affect students a lot.
Yeah, we'll see if better relations at home bring more people to the United States to study. So.
Definitely.
Is there anything we didn't ask you that you would like us to know?
Did I forget something? That I think I can't say that I said everything. I know there were some Cameroonians that was, I don't know that they are listening to me, that if they joined the meeting, at least maybe they might say something. I don't know. I just gave like a brief summary of there are a lot of things that we can write and go on and talk about Cameroon that they are very interested. Used to be a very peaceful country, but we're hoping and praying that things will get better, and we can be able to, visit without being afraid that somebody is going to attack you somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll hold out hopes for growing peace. So. All right. Well, on behalf of the Peoria Area World Affairs Council, thank you very, very much. This is really informative, and we welcome you to the Peoria community and look for ways that now that we can get back together, hopefully we can get together with you as well and meet each other and see what we can do to improve our world. So for those of you, if you're not yet renewed your dues with the Peoria Area World Affairs Council, please do. And next week we have 2 programs. On Thursday night, our Global Peoria Conversation will be with Sam Kessler on US, China, Russia intersection. And then on Friday, we have a program on NATO at 11 a.m. So, and then we usually take July off. So join us as you can, and we're going to be having some interesting programs coming up. Great. So thank you, Olivier. It's been really a wonderful evening. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right. Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye.